Hey everyone, it's Drake back with Learn Logbait. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. In today's video, we're going to be ranking all 56 cards you can use in Logbait. I know 56 seems like a lot, but we're double counting evolutions. So for example, both Cannon and Evo Cannon are on here, and they count as 2 cards. We're going to start off with Evos, then Win Condition, move on to Swarm units, then Tanks, Small Spells, Buildings, Spirits and Cycle cards, Ranged units, and finally close off with Tower Troops. I'll try to be as objective as possible, but at the end of the day, they're just my opinions from playing the game for 7 years and being a casual content creator. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start with Evo Cannon. It's great against recruits. It's great for sniping things like Firecracker, Princess, Dark Goblin, Evo Archers, Bats, and defensive Goblin gangs. The only issue is it's a little awkward to cycle to if you're in matchups that require Cannon like judiciously, like Hog Cycle. A lot of Evos you can just cycle to. You want to be able to like cycle to quickly, but you can't just be cycling it for the sake of cycling it and against something like Hog Cycle. It still gets an A tier though. Next up is Knight. I'm gonna get a lot of hate from classic Logbait players, but I'm sorry, Evo Knight is just not that great. The main purpose of Knight in Logbait is a 3 elixir tank that has really solid DPS, and Evo Knight can't be attacking for the Evo to actually work. It's great in graveyard decks because it soaks up tower shots, but for the purposes of Logbait, it's terrible. It gets a D tier. Ice Spirit. If I made this 4 months ago, it would be an S tier, but Supercell nerfed to the ground, and the usage rates speak for themselves. There's just so many better options to use your 2 Evo slots on, similar to Knight, so this also goes in D tier. Now we have Tesla. Supercell gave Evo Tesla out for free if you played during early August, so this is a great option for free-to-play players who don't have any other Evos yet. The ability is definitely really good for swarm control, like recruits, and the Evo itself does great against air units, so it goes in the B tier. Now we have Valk. Evo Valk has been dominating the Logbait meta this month because it synergizes so well with the wall breakers, hypno decks with vines. It's the crutch on defense and deserves S tier. Pretty much every Logbait deck used in the Clash Royale monthly finals recently by Riley, Muhammad Light, Ian77, they all use Evo Valk. I made a video analyzing the matches and you can check them out in the description below. Now we have wall breakers. I feel like people use these for defense more than offense, but they're pretty good nonetheless. It's just that they're not extremely better than normal breakers, so oftentimes it's more worth to pack 2 other evolutions because normal breakers accomplish the same goal. I'll give it an A tier. Definitely play these when your opponent doesn't have a building cycle, and best case is their best option is to defend with a swarm unit like Goblin Gang. Now we have Goblin Barrel. I mean, this evolution single-handedly put Logbait back on the map and made dueling pressure so much easier. There is no Logbait without Evo Barrel, which is why this comes in at S tier and the top spot on this list. Now we have Skelly Barrel. Evo Skelly Barrel has made a comeback because of all the vines going around. It gets an A tier and it's so much better than the regular Skelly Barrel, which we'll get to later. It's usually best paired with breakers, and I typically don't run it with Goblin Barrel in the same deck because I feel like it's pretty redundant. Next up is Dark Goblin. This is my personal favorite card, even though they nerfed the poison to the ground. It used to be S+ tier, but now it's just A tier. It's still more than viable, although Vines has been making things incredibly difficult. Finally, we have Skeletons. I left this in here because this is actually in Riley's favorite deck of all time, with Mighty Miner, Evo Barrel, Cannon, Princess, Rocket, etc. That deck is super fun to play, but this still gets a B tier because they're not that strong. It can definitely turn the tide in some matchups though. Now we're moving on to win conditions. We're going to start off with Goblin Barrel. So Goblin Barrel without the Evo is a B tier because there's way too many counters nowadays. Still, there is no Logbait without it, and for people just starting out, Hog Goblin Barrel with Zap Hovering is unstoppable because Log isn't unlocked in the bottom arenas. Then we have Wall Breakers. Breakers get A tier, but at the top of the A tier because they're just so hard to defend, and their usage rate was insanely high across all Logbait decks in CRL. Again, I linked my analysis video of those pro gameplay reviews in the description. You can also use them to kite troops, and they're just such a nuisance. Skeleton Barrel. Skelly Barrel gets the B tier because they're annoying to deal with, but heavily overshadowed by its evolution. Still, your opponent can't make too many positive elixir traits to counter it, so it still gets the B tier. Suspicious Bush. This card is a hyperbait staple, like in that Boss Bandit Cannoneer deck that took over the meta a few months ago, but it's been quiet, so I've slid them in the B tier. It's low-key a broken win condition in the right meta though. Finally, we have Mirror. I slid this in here because you can be cheeky if you have max Mirror and mirror your Princess or Dark Goblin so that Log can't kill it. You can also do 2 Roxas to take a tower for over 1,000 damage if you can pull it off. Mirroring Goblin Barrel also works. Still, no one actually does this, so it gets a C tier. Moving on to Swarm units. First up is Rascals. They're making a comeback because it can bait vines out, and Bar Barrel has been dominating the meta, but Bar Barrel can't reach like Rascals, obviously. It's personally my favorite Mega Draft pick, depending on the board, just because the value upside is so high. It goes in A tier, and Riley actually just made a deck with Rascals in it. Next up is Goblin Gang. It's a log bait classic card, gotta be S tier. You can get basically a set of stab goblins and a full set of spear goblins for 1 less elixir. If you play Gang 10 times throughout a match, that's 10 elixir saved. Then we have guards. This might be controversial, but I'll slide guards in B tier right now just because the meta isn't too demanding of guards right now. It's so good against Prince, but Boss Bandit is pretty balanced right now, and guards don't have nearly the offensive upside as Goblin Gang does. Then we have Stab Goblins. The most underrated card in my opinion. I'll do a video on them soon. They don't die to Zap, Rage, or Snowball, so they're super awkward to deal with if you defend with them. They're also a really cheap push against Cannoneer, which has been everywhere in the meta. B tier because no one uses Stab Goblins though. Then we have the Stab Goblins' brothers, the Spear Goblins. This is going to go into C tier because Gang is just so much better. Spears got nerfed, so 1 HP Spears don't get on tower, and they're still strong. They just don't synergize well with Log Bait, so they're going in C tier. Lastly, we have Skarmy. It's going to go in D tier because no one actually uses Skarmy unless you're in lower arenas. Honestly, I think Goblin Curse killed this card, and I'm wondering what Supercell will do about Skarmy. The usage rates speak for themselves. I think there was a rumor they're getting an Evo, but I'm not sure. Alright, this is a big category. We're going to do tanks. We're going to start with Knight. It's going to be S tier. Nothing else needs to be said. It's cheap, common, free to play, and can be used in any situation. There is no log bait without Knight. Then we have normal Valk. It's B tier because Evil Valk is just so much better. Knight does basically everything a regular Valk does, but better and cheaper. And you have Princess and Glog for splash control. So regular Valk's splash function doesn't really matter. You pay 1 more elixir, and throughout the course of a game, that can definitely add up. Next up is Mighty Miner. It's going to be A tier because champions are broken with a 3-card cycle, and you can cycle Evos and rocket faster. I made a video with some Mighty Miner gameplay, and we'll definitely do another one. It also shreds tanks. The next champion is Golden Knight. It's going to be B tier because it's not as tanky as Knight, and you're basically paying 5 elixir for a worse Knight, since 4+1 for the ability. 3-card cycle is definitely fun, though. Then we have Prince. Prince is so annoying, just not really in log bait decks. It's C tier, and we'll definitely get a nerf after this meta, or else we riot. Then we have Dark Prince. So once upon a time, people actually used Dark Prince with classic log bait and Tesla instead of Inferno Tower, but most people haven't been playing long enough to remember that time. Let me know in the comments if you do remember that deck. It just got buffed, which is great, but it's terrible with log bait. It goes in the F tier. Here we have Rogue Ghost. It's going to be C tier, but I can definitely see a place for it in bridge spam like hyper bait variations, like the video Riley just made with Rascals, but it's just not nearly as good as Knight for the purposes of log bait. Then we have Skeleton King. It's going to be an A tier because 3-card cycle and the ability can recycle fallen troops to provide another source of log bait, if that makes sense. It's decently tanky and the splash makes it pretty dynamic. Next up is Berserker. It's going to be S tier because of how cheap and popular it was in CRL recently. It goes really well with Valk and Vines. I personally think it should get nerfed based on usage rates alone, but that's my opinion. You can get really crazy with Berserker and hyper bait spam decks. Then we have Boss Bandit. It's in the B tier. It goes really well with the hyper bait, and it's so tanky for the 3-card cycle. So you can do 3-card cycle longer because it has so much health. But if you're returning to the game now, you are so lucky you didn't have to play in April and May when it broke the game. It was unkillable. Finally, we have Cannon Cart. Again, once upon a time, Cannon Cart was in log bait. The rework killed it, and then it came back in mortar decks. But it just doesn't mesh well with log bait compared to the other options in the market. Alright, we're going to do small spells now. This will be a pretty easy category. Log is going to be S tier because it kills Princess, Dark Goblin, Goblin Barrel, and everything else that's annoying to go up against for log bait. Don't need to explain much here. Then we have Vines. It's S tier, but I'm not sure about this in a few weeks when Supercell nerfs it to the ground like they always do with every broken card that just gets released. And obviously Vines got played a lot with log bait in the Hypno decks in the CRL video. Then we have Zap. It's going to be F tier, but I get it if you need to use it because you haven't unlocked log in lower arenas yet. There's not really a purpose when you have Princess to hit like air stuff unless you want to pair Zap with Goblin Barrel. Then we have Barb Barrel. It's going to be C tier because it functions the same as log but doesn't kill Princess or Dart and also can't even reach it sometimes. Maybe Barb Barrel could be used to tank for Evo Barrel, but like I haven't even seen that ever. Last up, we have Arrows. They're going to be in C tier because they're a pretty decent option if you haven't unlocked the log yet, since they can reach anywhere on the board and wipe out Goblin Barrel. But once people have log, no one uses arrows with log bait. Alright, another big category here, we're going to do buildings. So, we're going to do Cannon first. It's going to be put in the A tier and not S because you will get fried by Royal Giant Monk. There's just no way around it. It's so good against cycle decks like Hog and Drill, Recruits, and is really good against Mega Knight if you're good enough to use it. Also Ram Rider and Battle Ram. So the counterpart to Cannon in log bait is going to be Inferno Tower. It's going to be the same logic for Cannon. It's going to get A tier, but you're going to lose to Recruits and Royal Hogs, and sometimes Hog Earthquake when you get outcycled. I think Cannon is better because, yes, with Inferno you can defend Golem, RG, and Mega Knight easier, but I think Cannon is way more dynamic. So it gets A tier, just a shade below Cannon. Now we have Tesla. Tesla sucks. There's just no way around it. It shoots slower than Cannon, costs more, doesn't have the tank DPS ability the way Inferno does, like the ramp up, like Inferno thing, and it's also hard to get placements right because of True Red, True Blue. Yes, it can target air, but Logbait is already really good against air cards. Now we have Goblin Hut. There was a super good Hypno deck with Hut instead of Cannon when Hut got reworked and it was everywhere, but now it's balanced. It adds a little bit bait and gets a B tier. So last we have Bomb Tower and Goblin Cage. So Logbait doesn't for Bomb Tower, Logbait doesn't struggle with splash control, so unless you hate piggies and recruits decks, don't play with Bomb Tower. Yeah, it's a little tanky, but it doesn't even target air for 4 elixir. It goes in F tier. So Goblin Cage, same with Bomb Tower, gets at F tier. Not even sure why I put this in the video, but it is a Goblin on the inside, so that has to count for something. Now we're going to move on to Spirit/Cycle cards. So first up is the Ice Spirit. It's going to be A tier. I would put it in S, but I think that'd be too much glaze. It's a staple of Logbait. It tanks for Evo Barrel. It's quick cycle and amazing for defense. Next up is Fire Spirit. It's going to be A tier as well. It's super strong with Hyperbait decks because it does fireball damage on a tower if left untouched. Then we have E Spirit. It's going to be B tier because Ice and Fire are just so much better, but still solid if you hate playing against like bats or something. Princess already does well against bats though, so I feel like E Spirit doesn't really have as much of a place in Logbait as Ice Spirit and Fire Spirit. Last up is Skeletons. This isn't even like a Logbait card, just when you want cheap units to support towers and Dark Goblin on defense or something. You need Skeletons if you want to run like a crazy quick cycle Logbait decks with like Evo Breakers and like Evo Barrel and like cycle as many Evos as possible. But yeah, Skeletons get a B tier just because they're like well-rounded enough. Moving on to ranged units. We're actually going to do Mother Witch first. This will come as a surprise, but yes, Mother Witch has been used in Logbait decks. It pairs well with Skeleton King, but it's for slower paced control decks. She gets a B tier for how unique her abilities are. Next up is Princess. She gets an S tier, obviously. Third most important card in Logbait. When matchups are tough, especially against Cycle, her versatility to be used on offense and make favorable card sequences off of that is like unlike any other in the deck. Following up the Princess, we got Dark Goblin. It's going to be S tier because similar to Princess, it can get so much value and it doesn't even have to cross the bridge. Think of it as a quicker, heavy hitter than Princess with similar HP. Last up in ranged unit is Firecracker. It's going to be D tier because she's a discount Princess that shoots slower and can't get on tower like Princess unless she splashes a troop. She does survive Log though, which has to count for something. So kind of like arrow bait decks for lower arenas. Alright, for Big Spell, it's a small category. We have Rocket. I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but it really depends on the meta. For example, if the meta is dominated by a broken new Evo like Witch or Executioner, Rocket's nice. But Dark Line is just so much better that I really think Rocket is obsolete. I'm just going to get a lot of hate for this, but let me know in the comments what you think. Alright, then we have Fireball. I'm going to put this in F tier, F for Fireball, because unless you're a converted 2.6 Hog or 3.0 Expo player like me, you don't even have Fireball leveled up if you actually want to play Logbait. Dark Goblin and Rocket are equal rarity. Like, they're all rare cards, so there's really no excuse. We're going to close out with Tower Troops. We have Princess Tower. I would put it in S tier, but, like, it's just a normal Princess Tower. It gets an A, but it's by far the best Tower Troop for Logbait. It's also easiest to level up. Then we have Cannoneer. I give this a low A because it gets shredded by Graveyard, which has been strong in the meta for quite some time. But Cannoneer was really good in the Furnace meta, and it's super strong with the Boss Man, a Hyperbait deck. Lastly, we have Duchess. I'm not even considering Royal Chef just because like it's useless in Logbait decks. But yeah, Duchess, you really only see this with Hypnos deck, and even then I'd still recommend rocking Princess Tower or Cannoneers over Hypnos deck. And like Hypnos deck still runs like Cannoneer and Princess Tower, I would say. I've just seen it in like some Ian77 videos where Hypno was running Duchess. But yeah, she gets a D for Duchess. Anyways, that's all 56 evolutions, cards, and tower troops you can use Logbait with, ranked. Let me know in the comments what you agree and disagree with, as well as any cards I might have missed. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm super close to 10,000 subscribers, and once I hit 10k subs, I'll be doing a celebration stream with Pastoral giveaways and getting to know you all more. Hope you guys have an awesome day. As always, take care.